Welcome back to the Intersint podcast. This is episode 24.
Whoa.
And this is actually the first one where we're doing it in person.
There's a story behind this.
There is. So, first off, if you hear echoing in the background from one of us talking, that is just because
We're sitting right across from each other.
right, for once. And this is a test run. We're going to see how this goes, what we can do in the future, because there will be more in-person ones soon, I think.
I hope.
Yes. Once you move, we're going to start getting that all situated.
Yes.
And some other future stuff coming along with that. But the audio is not good. That's the reason why, right off the bat. Also, you came over to help me move my couch.
I did, yes.
And this is a couch I've had on the internet for
over a year,
at least like 2 years now, trying to sell it. No one wanted it. And I'm like, you know what? We just need to move on. Like, I need to get rid of it. It's taking up space. I'm not using it anymore. So you came over, helped me out. Mm-hmm. And I think it went pretty well.
It went well, yeah. Surprisingly easier than I thought it would be.
It was very light, yes.
Yes.
If we tried to move the couches I have now, we would need 2 more people because they're so heavy.
Okay.
But, if that wasn't enough of an adventure, we went on an adventure today.
We really did.
We go to Goodwill. I'm like, okay, I'm going to give the couch to them. They said no. They turned us away.
Apparently they have standards now.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
I thought they take literally everything you give them.
In a sense, yes. Like, obviously it has to be like in working condition or like resellable condition, which the couch was.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Like, sure, there's a tiny little rip on the corner. There's a stain in the back, which wasn't my fault.
No.
Like, I inherited the couch that way. And they turned me away. So we went to another place. They turned me away.
They did. We didn't even have to like do anything. We just had to ask them, like, hey, would you take this?
Yeah.
No.
I'm like, what the hell? And so with the second guy, I legitimately said, what do I do with this?
You asked the like, okay, now what?
Because I don't know what to do with it at this point.
He gave you a piece of paper that had the address of the local dump.
More or less
Pretty
the
much.
dump, yeah.
It was a recycling station, let's call it that.
Yeah, that's a better way to
Transfer
put it.
station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, cool, never been to that. I don't really know what that is. We get there, and what an experience this place was. So, do you want to explain it from your perspective?
So we're just talking. We get to the transfer station. You drive past the attendant, which in my head was, okay, wait.
I didn't see her there. I honestly, from my perspective, because it specifically said on the thing by weight.
Right.
So I thought the thing I'm driving on is a scale, and I had to stop and wait and then move forward after that.
Okay.
And I wasn't paying attention to the person in front of us, so I didn't know we had to pay.
Right.
And so I was...
Oh, right. We should explain that. So for the dump, at least here, I don't know how it is in other states, you have to pay to dump your shit.
Which, I expected.
Right.
I'm like, I don't want to pay to just get rid of my stuff.
Exactly.
It sucks.
It did, yes.
So yeah, I missed the window.
She's like, you can pay me now, which in my head, I was cracking up.
But also, how do they check that when you leave?
What do you mean?
Because there's a lane for prepaid.
Is there?
That's what we took to get out. Like, when you're exiting, it's like, hey, if you didn't pay here. If you did pay, take this lane. They never checked my paper. I could have just said I paid.
Huh.
So I don't know how they...
I feel like there are cameras there.
Maybe.
So if you dodge them, they'll just get your license plate.
That's a very good point. Yeah, so I missed the window, and then we finally get in the building.
Right.
And okay, before we get into the building, what were you expecting it to be like?
I expected it to be just like the other places we went to, like an attendant like helping you, taking your shit out.
Yes. I was expecting someone helps you take it out, and then
they like take it inside somewhere.
Exactly. Like it gets taken somewhere to be distributed.
Right.
What was it?
It was basically just a landfill. You drive up to a landfill and dump it there.
Quite literally, they have a concrete barricade. You pull whatever you have out of your car and just toss it over the barricade. And they have a guy whose job is just to back up a tractor and move the tractor forward to push everything back up the tractor. And there's a trampoline stuck in his tire.
I didn't even notice that.
I'm like staring at it as you're trying to help me with the couch getting it out. And I'm like, he's just doesn't care about that
really
triplet.
Taken pictures.
We should have. We thought about the picture thing after we left.
After we left, yeah.
Honestly, I think the whole thing was just a shock being there that we forgot everything.
It smelled so bad.
It was terrible.
I'm like, how did we forget our masks, first of all?
Well, but that wasn't the outcome of the place to end up.
True.
We weren't supposed to be there.
We weren't supposed to be there.
So because of that, I mean, because I didn't bring hand sanitizer either.
No.
Because again,
I still feel so. Ugh.
I know.
I feel like I need a shower after today.
The instant you open up the car door, just terrible smell.
I took a shower yesterday. I have like, okay, if you're a girl, I know you do this. There's 5 different types of showers girls take.
5? I can name 2. You do the full body.
There's a full body shower.
And then just the body.
And just the body. But then there's like the very full body shower where it's like exfoliating, cleaning, shaving, shampooing, conditioning, doing like all like the more extra stuff.
Okay.
In the shower. That's 3.
Okay.
Then there's just shaving.
Do you count that as a shower though?
I mean, you would have to.
Well, I get, okay, yeah, if you're running the shower
like,
water.
Scrub yourself with their shaving cream or soap or whatever.
Yeah, I've had girlfriends in the past who just like ran the tub water and just had their one leg in the tub while they shaved.
That couldn't be me. I don't have the balance for that.
Oh. That's what I've always seen. I didn't know like you would.
And I don't have a tub. I have a standing shower.
That is true.
So I have to be in the shower.
So, okay, you're running the shower water and it's specifically just to shave.
Yeah.
Okay. Then what? That was 4, right?
I think there is a 5th one of just washing your hair.
So it's the reverse body shower and just the hair shower. This is so complicated.
There's also, okay, not to get TMI, but like after a girl has like her period, of course she's going to like shower.
Well, granted,
off.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't want to do the entire thing, so you just like wash everything that's dirty down there.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I still feel that there just needs to be 2. You just need the full and then just the body.
The full one for me takes 45 minutes. Anything special after that, I'm like an hour, maybe an hour 15 in the shower, and everybody gets so mad.
Oh, I'm sure the hot water is just gone at that point, right?
It is. But I don't really use that much hot water because like in the shower, I'll like just turn the nozzle as much as I need to. Like if it's really hot, then I'll cool it off.
Right.
But then if it's like really cold, I'll like push it back to hot again.
Yeah, we were looking at some apartments because you're looking to move.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things is if we look into the washer dryer room and then the hot water tank is this tiny little thing, you're automatically like, yeah, I can't do this.
No.
I need the biggest thing you can possibly give me.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're doing that and like just tossing it over. And I couldn't help but think how easy that guy's job is to just put a tractor in reverse and then put the tractor in forward and then in reverse, and he does that all day.
Gets paid for that. Not even that, even the attendants, they just stand there asking for money basically.
Yeah, he's like, oh, just park here.
$20. Easiest job ever.
Yeah. And also, like, I never knew something like that existed. Like, that's just
really?
crazy.
What, like a dump?
A dump of the fact of, because what I would always think of, and this could just be because of where I grew up in Pennsylvania, was you take it to a literal, like, the mountainous dumps and you unload there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know there's buildings where you just throw stuff over a barrier for someone else to clean up. And I felt bad too. Like I'm like looking and I'm like, what do I do with this? And I just see people chucking it over. So I looked over the barrier to like, do I just throw it on the ground? Like everything about like against what I go for. Like don't put garbage on the ground.
I looked over after we tossed everything. That sofa looked so sad. Just there.
The way it like just thudded down and just stood there. I'm like,
it was just like upside down too. And just like it looked so sad.
I'm sorry, no one wanted your sofa, but we had to get rid of you.
Have you ever had that before? Like you think inanimate objects have feelings?
No. What?
After watching Toy Story as a kid, I had that. I'm
like as a kid.
Inanimate objects having feelings. So every time even now actually, because I have like stuffed animals.
Okay.
And so every time like one of them ends up on the floor after like when I wake up in the morning, I like jump out of bed and like just grab it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to put you on the floor.
Are you okay?
I mean, I think as a kid, I would think that probably.
Yeah.
I think every kid has.
Probably.
Right?
After watching Toy Story especially.
Probably. You do that thing where like your toys are off beside you and you'll turn your head away and quickly turn back. Like, did you move? I'm watching you.
I'm watching you.
Yeah, so that we did that.
Yeah.
And then so after that it was like, okay, we need like a treat because we just hauled this sofa around everywhere. And we went to get boba, which was delicious.
Yeah.
Almost got into like 3 different wrecks going to boba.
Did we really? I wasn't paying attention. No.
Oh, yeah. So like oh no, you did pay because there's that one guy like was yelling at to stay still because he was trying to pull out in front of me.
Oh, yeah. You were raging out on that one.
I don't get the people see you coming and they start inching their way out into the lane.
Yeah.
Like you're doing nothing.
Exactly.
And so this guy was doing that and I was just like, stay still. Don't move. That happened, 2 times?
Yeah.
Maybe 3.
Mm-hmm. I mean, granted, you're better than my brothers because what they would do is just okay, I don't condone this. I need to have a talk with them. There's this one time where one of my brothers was driving with his wife somewhere, and I think somebody cut him off on the freeway, so he just takes the hand sanitizer bottle and just chucks it at him.
Out the window?
Out the window, hit his like back windshield. I'm like,
that is...
She was like, I need to like have a serious talk with him. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, you do.
That's like an anger management level, like
road rage.
Yes. Holy hell! I did not expect you to go in that direction.
I didn't realize he did that either. Because to me, it was like, okay, like whenever we're driving or he's driving, like, and we're like in the passenger seat, whatever, he's pretty calm about things.
Right.
But then for her to like say stuff like that and him being like, oh yeah, I do that. I'm like, I've never seen you do that.
Oh jeez. That just makes... Does he have a stockpile of things now in the car to just toss out?
Maybe.
Hun, where did our the keys go? This guy caught me out like 3 hexes back.
We have to turn back around and get those keys.
I had to throw something. I was just mad. Well, that's not good.
No.
And then I didn't say anything whenever it happened, but we almost got rear-ended.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Jeez.
It was... that one like where you said I probably could have made it.
Oh.
And I stopped and the guy behind me almost slammed into the back of us. So, yeah.
Yay. Yay, where we live.
So then we finally get the boba.
Yes. What did you think of it, by the way?
Oh, delicious.
Oh, yeah.
Which, there's a thing where I'm from Pennsylvania and there's just a specific bubble tea that they had on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I moved back out here, I went to a place and I went to a boba place and it was lacking in flavor, lacking in options. It's like, what is, like, I only have like 10 things to choose from. Right. I don't get to customize.
Yeah.
And that's just seemed to be the normal around here.
That's like the normal in like, so as you go towards Seattle, there's like the University of Washington.
Yes.
In that area, it's exactly what you're describing of lacking in options, lacking in flavor, lacking in extra stuff that you could put in. Mm-hmm. But then as you like venture out from that into like where we are, there's more customizable drinks that you could make.
Yeah. And there's actually that one place we found that we went to. And after we got a drink, I was like, this is exactly like the East Coast.
This is home.
This is what they did.
Aww.
And so this new place that you showed me, the exact same. It's all the options and stuff that you need.
Good.
But I was like really hungry because I didn't really have much for breakfast. So then we go to a Middle Eastern bakery.
Yeah.
Got some baklava and...
It's like these date roll things.
I was trying to think of what the name of it was.
Yeah.
Kelfa, maybe?
Kelcha.
That sounds right.
I think.
Maybe.
That's how you say it.
It was a dessert that starts with a K. Yeah. We got that too. So got the nibble a little bit before we got into the recording. But yeah, that was our morning. That was
eventful.
Oh, what a day. But the couch is gone, so I'm happy about
Yay.
that. But I was listening back to one of our other episodes and we have an update. Well, maybe. What did you end up doing with the shoe guy?
I reported him twice.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. But I feel like if you report something, like Instagram will take its time to go
any place does
that and like do their own investigation or whatever. If anything doesn't happen in like the next 3 weeks, I'll be reporting him again, just seeing what happens.
Just keep doing it.
Keep doing it every week.
We can write you a simple script that it runs all the time and just we'll keep sending him a message. That's where coding is your best friend. I saw a thing of this guy who he was supposed to have a flight somewhere to see a friend and the friend passed away before the flight. So he reached out to the airlines and said, hey, look, my friend who I went to see died. There's no reason for me to go anymore. I need to cancel my tickets. They wouldn't do it. He wrote a script.
I feel like I saw that.
To send them an email every hour on the hour, every day, until they finally were like, okay, we're sorry. Here's your money back. Stop sending us emails.
Because I was going to say, he'll like probably block me from messaging him.
True. I need to make an account and then...
Yeah, you do.
I should reach out and be like, hey, I'm looking to get custom shoes and here's the design I'm thinking. And after he gives me the price, be like, all right, cool. My friend paid you a couple of years ago. And so give her
you can use that. But speaking of dying on a flight or like dying before a flight, have you heard about the Turkish Airlines?
I have not.
Pilot?
No.
So, okay. I think it was a flight into Seattle. Yeah, into Seattle from Turkey, so Istanbul.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to make an emergency landing because the pilot died.
Which, how often does that happen?
I feel like that never happens.
At least we never hear about it.
Right? But then like the co-pilot took over, but it's like, what is going on in your head as a co-pilot with the pilot dead right beside you?
Yeah.
I can't imagine that.
You're just casually flying and then all of a sudden you're like, he doesn't respond for a moment and you look over and he's just hunched over the controls. And do you make an announcement at that point? Like,
I probably wouldn't. Just because then at that point, you're just scaring everybody on board.
That is true.
Especially because you don't know exactly how it happened. Because he like just lost consciousness and he was just laying there and they just pronounced him dead.
That is insane. And he wasn't even that old either.
I think it was like, what, 50 something? 59?
Yes. 59.
Yeah. Jeez.
And I like how even in the report it says lost consciousness at some point. so it's
like, are you just not paying attention?
Yeah, did he just not look over and was he like, oh, he's a really good listener today?
he's really quiet today.
Yeah, he's really listening to my whole story. And look over, the guy's dead. That's insane.
Yeah. But like, imagine like being on the flight, getting on the tarmac and just having that announcement made of like, oh yeah, this is why we have to make an emergency landing.
By the way, guys. So the pilot died. We're not sure when, but he died. On top of that, imagine, like, this is the reason why we had two pilots, right?
Yes.
Imagine if we just never did and it was always down to one pilot and then that happened.
Jeez.
Like, what would happen at that point?
I have no clue.
Because autopilot would have to take care of it for
a certain amount of time. Like, it can't be the entire thing because takeoff and landing is manual.
Yeah. So would it just be hovering around the airport up above, waiting to be landed?
I mean,
and then
for how long? Because there's only a certain amount of gas.
Yeah, and then how do you... There'd be no getting that down either.
I mean, besides a crash landing, yeah.
Like, you can't just fly up another pilot to, like, James Bond that shit onto the plane.
That shit.
Break into the door and, like...
I wonder, because, like, aren't there planes that refuel mid-flight?
Yes.
So then...
Like military.
Couldn't it be possible to, like, manufacture something that can do that? Like, latch onto the plane and bring it down with it. I feel like there needs to be, like, a tow truck for airplanes.
So true.
For like, situations like this.
There'd be so many things involved into making that happen. All right, guys, we're just gonna keep refueling you. We're working on something on here. We'll make it and we'll get it sent off.
Well, like, because that also reminds me of this one incident, and I was watching YouTube shorts for this, of the pilot got sucked out because the bolts on the windshield came out.
Oh, yeah.
And so his head was just hitting like the fuselage.
Yeah. There's another podcast that would talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
And the description the guy was using to tell the story, I was crying, laughing, imagining that from like an outside perspective. I'm like, how terrible it is for this guy. Like, right. I feel bad for this, but it was the funniest fucking thing. Like the funniest vision in my head of this guy just bouncing off of the thing repeatedly.
Because he was only latched on by his feet.
Yeah, the co-pilot was like holding his ankles or something.
Yeah, the flight attendant was holding him as the co-pilot was bringing the plane down.
Yes.
Miraculously survived. Because everybody thought he was dead.
Oh, yeah, after being a flag. I can't imagine anyone would think you're alive at that point.
No.
Did you ever see that video of the guy who went paragliding and the instructor forgot to attach him? This happened years ago.
I feel like maybe.
And so they take off and then the guy just falls, but like he grabs onto the instructor and is hanging on for his life.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, between that and the plane thing, it's just like, this is it. I'm done.
This is why you don't go skydiving.
Pretty much.
This is why you don't like heights, huh?
I think it's more, I don't like the fear. I have a fear of falling from a height.
Okay, there you go.
So the heights just play into that. So I don't want to be up high because up high means fall from high.
Up high means dead.
And I've seen videos of bungee jumpers. I'm just like, nope,
the rope snaps.
I've seen videos of that too. And would you ever do that?
Bungee jump?
Yeah.
If I know for sure that nothing's going to happen, then yes.
You have no way of...
Exactly. That's like with base jumping too.
Oh, I could never.
Yeah. That's like, I feel like one thing I would never do is base jumping.
It's just because, yeah.
And like, have you seen videos of like, I think they're on YouTube Shorts too, of like people going up on like skyscrapers and like jumping on like what is it?
Like the parkour running?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that, yep.
That's the one thing I don't like.
It just takes one slip.
Mm-hmm.
Like a leaf being on the ledge that you didn't see there and you go to step and then boom, you're gone.
Mm-hmm. Or like a bird in your way.
A bird? There's so much just stuff like that. And the bungee jumping, base jumping, and there's these skateboarders that have actually jumped from one building to another with an ollie. And like, there's so much with that could go wrong. Yeah. Running and jumping seems so much simpler than just riding a skateboard.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I think if the bungee jumping thing was a reputable place, you have better odds. But if it was like some side alley, like, hey, you want to go bungee jumping? Like,
no.
No,
thank you.
They just have a bunch of those like mechanic bungee cord things that they have.
I can just get from like the auto store.
Yeah, they just tape all those up together.
Yeah, no thanks.
Would you ever jump from the top of like a cliff into water below?
I've never done that. I've seen people do it. I feel like it depends on the depth of the water.
Yes.
And if there are rocks.
Yeah.
Because you can easily land on a rock that you can't see. I think I would do that if I know for sure that it's open underneath. Like if there's any rocks that are like visibly spread out, I'm like, yeah, no.
My biggest fear, I mean, sure, if it's open, yeah. My biggest fear, I'm pretty confident that I would jump. Like I would jump farther than I think I need to jump.
And you hit a rock.
Yeah. Hit the edge. Don't even land in the water.
Yeah.
Or go too short because you're like, oh, I know I'm going to jump too far, so I'm going to undercompensate for that. And
that's my fear too.
Yeah.
It's just not even like jumping, it's hitting something when you get down.
Yeah, it would be, because once you're in the air, you're like, oh yeah, that was too short. Well, fuck, here we go, because I can't move anywhere now.
That's like pretty common too, because I remember when I was in Pakistan for a cousin's wedding, one of her neighbor's kids died doing that.
Oh, like he was hitting a rock?
I don't even know how, but it was just, I think he was out with friends, and the friends were like, of course, jumping and whatnot, but he just never surfaced.
Oh.
And so like his friends like went to go see what happened, dragged his body out. Like imagine like going out with your friends, like telling your mom like, hey, I'm going out with my friends and we're going to be here, and never coming home.
Yep. I think about that all the time too.
Yeah.
Back in Pittsburgh, there was a time when I was heading to work and this one road, the only road to get to work, was completely shut down. Turns out that like someone crashed into her and she died. Yeah. And I was like, how terrible would that be that you're just going to a job that you probably hate and then you get into a wreck and die?
Yeah.
Like, that'd be the worst. I couldn't imagine it. And I learned recently that after a certain point of depth in the water, I'll put it like this. So whenever I always see things about being underwater, and it's like, oh, they didn't know which way to swim. I'm like, just swim up. Like up.
You know where up is.
If you just float, you're going to go up. Apparently, there's a point in the water where there is no more up. Like if you were to try to float, you actually go down and not up. It's
because of how much water is above you.
Yeah, it's the buoyancy and the pressures and stuff that at a certain level, you actually will sink down and not float up.
Right.
Which is terrifying to even think about. I will stand by that. Humans do not belong in the ocean. We need to stay on land. We left the water for a reason.
we evolved some billion years ago for this reason.
We grew legs and lungs because they were like, fuck that world down there. We need to do one.
We like it up here.
Yeah.
Ariel from The Little Mermaid had it right.
Exactly. Water scares me. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Just no thank you.
See, I love water. It just depends on the situation.
Yeah. If it's in a swimming pool indoors, sure.
If I know the environment and I'm comfortable with it, then I'll just do whatever. But if I'm not, then it's like, yeah, no, I'm safe up here.
It's one of those things too of, I think it's in Texas where they have that brain-eating bacteria or whatever in the water.
That is here too.
Is it? See?
It's in Green Lake.
This is why you don't go in water.
The thing is, like, they've announced every year that there's like brain-eating amoebas and like algae and like this is poisonous. Don't go in the lake.
Yeah.
People still do.
Oh, and at Lake 22.
Yeah.
Like whenever I went, there's specifically on the website, it says, do not get into the water because there's a bacteria in there. Don't let dogs drink from the water. Mm-hmm. Get there and people are jumping in the water, swimming. Dogs are drinking out of the water, and like this we have signs for a reason, people.
Natural selection.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. I don't get it. But combining these fears for me, water, and what we talked about a couple episodes ago with caves. Have you ever seen those videos of people scuba diving in these tight little ass holes in the ground?
No.
It is. If you thought like spelunking was terrifying enough, this is just like.
So there's exploring underwater caves.
Yep.
No, thank you. No. As much of a thrill seeker as I am, no.
There's also videos like people going into this hole underground, and then you see them pop up onto a lake a little bit away. So apparently there's a tunnel system underneath to lead to the lake.
Right.
What if you get that wrong?
Yeah.
Or like you get snagged on something, or what if there's multiple turns you don't know about? Just know. I think being underwater and knowing there's no way out of the water is probably the worst fear of mine.
Oh yeah.
Probably the worst way to go too.
I mean, yeah, because you have an oxygen tank. You know how long you have oxygen for, and you get lost, and it's just like, how much longer do I have before this runs out?
It's kind of like those Paris catacombs.
Oh, yeah.
Like, do you remember that infamous like guy who had the video camera? Like, you're trapped down there. So yeah. It's just one of those things of how long until I'm done. Which I've always wanted to go down there.
I've always wanted to go there too.
Obviously with a guide who knows their way.
How about we start with the Seattle Underground first?
I do need to go there. Have you been to that one?
I haven't, no.
Okay. Maybe we'll have to do that. We'll do it. Maybe next year.
In the summer, yes.
But yeah, so then what happened with that flight? I know we kind of got away from that.
They landed at what, New York?
That's what it looks like, yeah.
Yeah. They landed in New York, and then I guess they had to wait for a different airline to transport them back to Seattle.
I can't wait to see what the reasoning is behind this.
Yeah. I mean, it is a developing story. From the time of this recording, it is developing.
It's one of those things of...
Which is funny, because my mom recently was on a Turkish Airlines flight.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was coming back from Pakistan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she was like, oh, yeah, this is not as good as the other airlines like Emirates, but it's good. Like, at least you made it home, and not like this didn't happen.
Yeah, at least your pilot didn't die. I wonder if they ever...
I mean, I wonder if it is the same pilots doing the same routes.
And do they have the same rules? I would imagine every airline has the same rules, right?
Yes. Of what? Well, like, yes.
But I don't know.
Standards, of course, like airlines have standards that everyone has to follow.
Yeah,
like,
you need to get this many hours of sleep. You can't do this.
Oh, yeah, that's like what? Federal regulations of like...
Federal, but is that for worldwide?
I mean, I guess.
I don't know.
To be a pilot, you have to have a certain number of hours logged in. There's like, you can't engage in any activities that will be harmful to you before a flight.
Yes, yeah. That's what I mean.
I would imagine sleep is in that. You need like a certain amount of sleep to...
But I think you need to constantly get health checkups too.
Of course, yeah.
So I wonder what was happening with this guy to just something to go wrong.
Yes, yeah. I mean, with death, you can't really explain it.
That is true. Get a Ouija board.
What happened to you?
What happened? In other news too, we have the new hurricane.
Oh yes, Milton.
That fucked shit up.
At the time of this recording, Milton has passed Florida, I think.
Yeah, it just finished.
Yeah. They were prepared for a Category 5 storm. I have friends who are in Tampa. One of my coworkers who sits right across from me flew to Miami.
Oh, she actually still did that trip?
She did, yeah.
Oh, no.
She made it. She's alive.
That's good.
It turned out to be nothing. It's basically like a windstorm here.
Oh, okay.
Is what the aftermath is where she was.
Oh, where she was. Okay.
I'm imagining the coastlines, of course, are severely damaged.
Yeah, I saw a video of 15-foot waters taking over towns and stuff.
But I imagine like inland, it's more, a tree has fallen down.
Yeah. Which is terrifying.
Right.
Because
nevertheless,
I sent you the screenshot of that one meteorologist saying this is close to breaking world records of hurricanes.
Yeah.
Which is not something you want to hear.
No.
That's terrifying. But the fact that luckily it went down.
It did.
Because if that was a 5 that hit, that'd
be like past Katrina levels.
Yes. There just be non-existent towns anymore.
Basically, yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure there are right now.
I mean, a lot of places I'm sure have to rebuild.
Just move.
Not even that. Like, a hurricane is coming, so why not just evacuate?
The people who never evacuate, it's one of those things. What is it called? Like the survivorship bias of they survive a hurricane. So like, you don't have to evacuate.
Yeah.
So you just get very confident with the next one and the next one and the next one. And then all of a sudden you die because you didn't evacuate.
And I guess it also depends on like where you are too. I guess more inland, you'd think like, oh yeah, it's fine. I'm fine. But people who are like on the coast and they don't evacuate, it's like, okay, well, I mean, your choice.
Yeah, I guess so.
I wonder what happened at Disney World.
Yeah, so people decided to just go to Disney when the hurricane was coming.
The day before?
The day
or during?
I think it was the day of.
Didn't they close that down though? They closed down Disney World.
No, because it says in this article here, hours before the storm's landfall.
Weird, because I saw articles of like, oh hey, the hurricane's coming, Disney World's going to be closed, and they opened it the next day. Like after the hurricane opened up or went away. Yeah,
it looks like in this thing that they planned on starting it down at 1 p.m. or shutting it down.
Okay.
Who's like, hey, we spent all of our money getting down here. We're not going to let a hurricane ruin our fun. What are you talking about?
Like, this goes back to the whole Disney adults thing.
Yeah.
Of like, you really can't just not go for the day because a hurricane's coming. Mm-hmm. Like, how far is Disney up your ass?
Absolutely mind-blowing that if I go anywhere and there's like, there's an amusement park, if they say there's a hurricane, you bet your money I'm leaving. I'm just, even if I had to go to the next state over, we are going to find something fun to do over there.
Exactly. Where there's safety. Under Oath had it right. Then they're only chasing safety.
Oh. Every time you'll make these jokes and you just stare at me like, did you get that one?
You're supposed to get this one.
Never do.
You never do. It's like the one gif of like the joke going over the stick figure's head.
Yeah. It would help if I knew album names and stuff.
I need to realize that you don't know anything anymore.
No. Hold on.
You agreed.
It's not anything.
You don't know anything anymore.
I know. Yeah. I don't know specific stuff. Thank you very much.
You're very confident in that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
And I'm proud of it.
I'm getting dumber by the day.
That's with age.
It is. I really wonder too how much of it, which goes back to like, I think the very first episode we did, maybe sooner or after that. But with the iPad kids, how much does that fucking up with their spelling and stuff?
A lot.
Because I know
I would imagine.
Yeah, I rely on it way too much. And I think that's why I'm forgetting how to spell words.
You're relying on what too much?
Autocorrect.
Oh.
So like if I mess up a word, it's like, you wanted to spell this and it fixes it for me.
Yes.
And I never think about it anymore.
Weird.
So then whenever I'm like handwriting something, I'm like, how do I spell this word again? I can't remember.
I mean, that's like with, because I remember seeing this one YouTube video of like how Coco Melon has been ruining kids' brains.
Coco Melon?
Coco Melon.
What is a Coco Melon?
Melon.
What is that?
It's like take
me out to the ball game.
Huh? Yeah. Let's go. Take like children's TV from back in the day, like when we were kids.
Okay.
Up the exposure, up the frames per second, like just up everything to the max.
Right.
That's Cocomelon. And like there's a
thing.
So
it's a cartoon?
It's a cartoon for kids.
Okay.
Trying to teach them like manners and spelling and like how to behave yourself and like be nice to your parents and like all of that. But like every frame lasts less than a second that a child's brain can't comprehend what's going on.
Less than a second per scene?
Per scene, yeah.
It's like fast transitions.
Like quick. So like a child's brain can't comprehend anything.
Right.
So there are children who are like throwing tantrums and like whining their asses off until something like that goes on TV because it's like very hyper stimulating.
Oh, geez.
And so a lot of parents are just like, yeah, my kid is 4 and doesn't know how to speak. My kid is like almost in preschool and doesn't know how to like ask for anything or like do things properly.
Technology was a mistake.
It wasn't a mistake. It's more lazy parenting, honestly. But I'm going to say that it's lazy parenting.
I don't think so, because think of how much shit is getting hacked now. There's like probably 5 more things that happened since we talked about it last time.
Hacked how? Like
the internet archive was just hacked and taken down.
Okay.
We just had...
But how are you blaming that on...
Technology?
Right.
Because that's... People are just using it for bad. Yeah,
but technology is good in a way where... Because when you're a child, like, of course, the parent controls, like, what you're doing.
Right.
Maybe don't shove an iPad in their face when they're crying their asses off. Let them cry it out. Let them have, like, their tantrum. Like, there's other ways to dispel what is going on with that child rather than shoving an iPad in their face, getting them to shut up because of their pretty colors and like songs.
But at the same time, I watched cartoons all the time as a kid. And
right. But it's like...
I just feel like the cartoons nowadays are worse, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah.
So we're just like...
The cartoons that are more hyper-stimulating and that gets a child to shut up is worse.
Yes.
Because there are cartoons that like are more educational and there are more on the moral of the story type shows.
Right.
That parents don't want to like show because it's like not as fun and exciting or like stimulating for a child.
I guess, but even going back to like the cell phone thing, okay? Back when we had flip phones and whatnot, you were still out and...
Because there was nothing to do on it.
There was nothing to do. So now because of technology evolving, now you have people with like chronic anxiety and depression because of all the overstimulation.
But when did you have your first cell phone?
My first one? 15?
Kids are getting them when they're 6 years old.
That is true.
So,
but even with us, like you saying how you're addicted to watching TikTok, I'm addicted to watching YouTube Shorts. This is like,
but we know when to stop.
Do we? Do we, Kaneez?
At least I do.
Tell that to my 11:30 p.m. brain and as I'm in bed.
You. That is you. I know when to stop.
I don't think you. There's times when you spend hours there too.
Well, I know when to stop when it's my bedtime. I don't go past my bedtime.
There's always like, for me, it's like, all right, one more. All right, one more. All right, one more.
I give myself a limit and I'm very, in my head, I'm very like disciplined because I know I have other things to do.
Yeah, I'm not.
I've taught myself a lot of discipline with stuff like this because I know if I let it go, I'm going to become like you.
I feel like I've gone away from discipline I used to be and I just threw it out the window. If I'm tired, there'll be days I'm on the couch for 5 hours.
There's days where I haven't heard from you for hours. Because we'd be talking about like either like what happened with our day or like planning out the podcast or whatever. And it's like, I'll ask you a question about like the podcast or whatever. I don't hear from you until like...
For like an hour and a half.
Not even that, like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. It's like, I hope he's okay.
Hi, I'm here.
The second you say, hey, I'm here, I'm like, I know exactly what happened.
YouTube Shorts is taking over my life. Oh boy. But with hurricanes and stuff.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a hurricane?
No.
Tornado?
I have been on the West Coast my entire life, so earthquakes are the only thing I've experienced.
Not even like a microburst?
No.
I've been in 2 microbursts.
Really?
Those are not fun. Yeah, the one time I was at like a festival.
These are all on the East Coast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was out at some place. I think I was in Ohio, which probably explains why it happened. And we were just walking around this like festival thing, and I was younger, and then all of a sudden chaos just everywhere.
Really?
Like without even a warning. It was just like just walking and then limbs flying everywhere and things crashing down.
Jeez.
And so I think the most warning we had was a little breeze right before it like is like whoosh. And this is like so we're running, not knowing what's going on. We're just running for figure out where to go. People are getting just obliterated by limbs of trees. And then within about 30 seconds, just quiet. Like nothing ever happened. People on the ground bleeding from tree limbs and stuff.
Oof. We had a warning like that in 2013 or 2014 of like, hey, this is like hurricane tornado level winds that are going to be on the West Coast for the first time in like decades, maybe even like 50 to 70 years or whatever. So we were all preparing. We were all like shopping and like getting like supplies fully prepared in our heads of like, we may lose power for like a few days.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. The most destruction that happened were lawn chairs flipped over.
Oh no.
That's it.
Hey, now you have extra supplies.
And so like the memes that came out of that were like, oh no, this lawn chair flipped over and we will rebuild.
Don't worry guys, we got this.
We got this.
Actually, because you brought that up, that was my second microburst experience. I don't think I was outside for that one. I was inside. All of a sudden, you just hear all this wind, and then I lost power for about a week and a half.
Oof.
So taking showers
in the dark. I hate that.
I had to go buy lanterns.
Really?
Like emergency lanterns. So like the one I have is like you can hand crank it to recharge it in case you don't have power.
Yeah.
And I just set that up next to my shower and go shower.
It dies down. You have to crank it up again.
Take it 5 more minutes of
That's like why, because like for me, of course like my power goes out every winter.
Yes. Every winter, every rainstorm.
It's coming up. So we have candles everywhere. We have
that's a good one.
Industrial flashlights now that my dad has bought.
Ooh.
And has given us. Like, here, take this. We have a gas fireplace that turns on, so that emits a lot of light. So I'm just like, if I'm going to move out, I want a gas fireplace now. I wasn't looking at it before, but now thinking about it, I'm just like, it might be good to have.
That is true.
Although I feel like apartments now have generators.
They do.
Yeah.
Except for, it's weird. I've had my power go out here before just randomly, and then it was out for about the entire day.
Oh.
With no explanation to why. So, yeah, they have generators, but stuff still does happen.
Yeah.
But with the whole like survival thing, I need to look into those lights.
Lights. Oh, the industrial flashlights?
Yeah.
You can just get them at like a Home Depot or Lowe's.
Oh, okay. Because somehow the power cables for my lanterns that I bought are gone.
Oh.
I don't know where they are.
Yeah.
And kind of need those if I wanted, like, because I'd always keep them charged just in case.
Right.
Especially on the East Coast. But like you said, over here, we just have to worry about earthquakes.
Yeah.
Which I think I've only experienced, 2 since I've moved out here?
I've experienced a few because San Francisco, it has like, we're just on the plate.
Yeah.
So it's like, ugh. I remember being 6 or 7 and like my entire family was like underneath the dining room table in the apartment we used to live in because there was like a giant earthquake. And we were just all like, what is going on?
You know what I thought about? I would love to have a personal helicopter specifically just for an earthquake. Like an earthquake happens, you get out into your helicopter and you just hover above the ground for about an inch off the ground.
You want to put a hit on Elon? Maybe we can like get one.
I know. Because like think about it. You just hover for an inch off the ground.
I've thought about that too, actually.
For about a minute. And then you just land and you never experience the earthquake.
Any natural disaster.
Oh yeah, like if a flood came through?
Because they are saying the flood will come through with the tsunami. So
that sounds like Game of Thrones. They are saying the flood will come through.
The flood is coming.
The flood is coming.
Like I've always thought about that of like, if I know that earthquake is going to happen or like the tsunami is going to happen, like let's just fly out of here inland somewhere.
That would be nice.
Yeah. You can build an airplane. They have like kits for it.
Do you trust yourself building an airplane kit?
No, but I can pay somebody to do it.
That is true.
Or you and me can do it IKEA style.
I would not trust anything you and I put together.
That's true. I've seen a meme of that too, of like a group of engineers had to like build a plane and the professor comes in. It's like, and he was just like chilling in the front seat. And I guess like, I don't know how even this, if I don't even know if this is like an accurate story, but it's like, oh, a reporter came in and asked him like, oh, do you trust what your students have built? He's like, fuck no. That's why I'm sitting up here.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust a bunch of college kids to build a plane.
Especially now.
Yeah, I've always thought to just buy like a life raft or something.
Yeah,
and then if floodwaters got bad enough, I could just go out my balcony onto my boat.
Onto my boat.
Just paddle my way to where I need to go.
Yay.
My dog freaking out in the life raft, his nails cut the thing and then it sinks and then I'm screwed. Yeah. That'd be my luck.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be like calling you
You'll
like,
have to like,
hey, Kaneez, I'm
wrap his
coming. And then
paws.
you just see me like paddling down towards your house. I thought about that a lot.
Yeah. I see that.
Anything with like natural disasters and stuff, I'm always like, what would I do in this situation?
Yeah.
Because I've thought about the whole earthquake thing.
Mm-hmm.
And being I'm in an apartment, I'm like, I'm fucked either way. If a big earthquake hits, I'm done. All the concrete above us right now, that is just going to come
crashing down. And you don't even have like what those support. I mean, besides that, like beams you can like stand under.
Yep. There's not much.
But have you heard about this woman getting terrorized by raccoons?
When I just saw the headline, I laughed for a solid 10 minutes thinking about this.
So this happened in Washington. I think it was in the Duval area.
I don't even know where that is.
South, I want to say.
Okay.
This lady's been feeding raccoons for like, 30 years now? And so obviously there's like reports of like, or not reports, but everybody knows not to feed scavengers like crows and raccoons because obviously something like this will happen. Hundreds of raccoons showed up at this woman's lawn because she's been feeding them. So obviously these raccoons are going to go tell their raccoon friends like, hey, this bitch has been feeding us. Let's go because she'll feed you too. She freaks out and calls 911 about it.
Because it gets crazier than that. Yeah, they show up at her house. They were clawing at the side of her house. Yeah. Wanting to get inside to get that food.
Yep. I mean, they say raccoons are really smart creatures.
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like she incited a mob onto her house.
Like, she could have brought this on herself. If I was that 911 operator, I'd be like, seems like a you problem.
Not even that. It's like, excuse me?
I'm sorry, what? You
said raccoons are attacking you?
Am I in a movie?
There's hundreds of them. You just hear the like outside, like trying to get in. And they said that like they got so aggressive about it too.
Of course.
Like she had to evacuate too, right?
I think so, yeah.
Imagine like you wake up.
Where would you go though if you know raccoons are surrounding you?
What would you have? Like you have to get like ninja style with a broom and just starts like flailing it around trying to hit them.
I'm imagining like just hitting them and raccoons just go flying everywhere. Like in the movies.
I've seen like, and raccoons just don't give a fuck.
They really don't.
I've seen videos of a woman had a snack on her wakeboard or not wakeboard. Paddleboard. Mm-hmm. And a raccoon comes up to her
and just takes
and
it.
Is trying to get the food, and she is smacking the ever-loving shit out of this raccoon with her paddle. And the raccoon's just like moving its head, trying not to like get hit and like reaching for the food. Like you have the food out, a raccoon will do anything to get that food. Although, have you seen the videos of a raccoon being in a tree trunk or something, and people holding out food in front of the tree trunk, and you just see their little hands like come out and like,
so cute.
Oh, thank you, sir. I wanted that treat.
Yummy.
That's
yeah.
Imagine turning on your light too outside and just seeing all those glowing eyes like staring at you. Like it'd be like a horror movie.
Yeah. I feel like eventually, give it 3 to 4 years, it'd be a movie like this.
Oh yeah. I mean, we've had so many other stupid movies. This could be one.
Like The Crow or whatever. Crows.
You have crows. You have Cocaine Bear.
Raccoons added to that list.
The starving raccoon. Yeah, and the thing is, like you were saying, you feed these raccoons, and then they expect the food all the time.
Of course, yeah. Because they know, like, why hunt for food when it's easily accessible here?
Yeah, and then you take that away and they're like, no. That's not
Never
part of this agreement. What would you do? You wake up and there's just hundreds of raccoons out in your yard trying to get in.
Smoke bomb them shit.
Where are you getting a smoke bomb from?
I'll have it ready in cases like this. If I know I'm feeding animals and one day they decide to turn on me, I need to be prepared.
I am your master.
I own you, bitch.
I could imagine you just like getting a flamethrower out and just like... and it's like,
where would I get a flamethrower?
You would have one just randomly for some reason.
Sure.
No, I would.
You definitely would. You definitely would. You would have a flamethrower and then 3 years later decide to tell me, oh, hey, I have a flamethrower.
I think I could imagine you just calling me randomly at like 3 a.m. and be like, Mike, there's raccoons outside. Can you come handle them?
Me? Why call it? I feel like animal control had to have like a whole, crew to take care of that?
Especially, like we said, like they don't give a fuck and they're already trying to break into a house. Mm-hmm. They're already mad. So you need a ton of people. Do you get like riot shields and like to push them back? Like these, the stick things that you use to like grab onto people, like pushing them back with like sticks to like create at least a little bit of a path to get the woman out of the house.
Yeah, really.
And what story like for her, like, yeah, I can't go back home. There's raccoons.
Imagine telling your job that. You wake up in the morning, get your coffee, all set to go to work. You open the door and there's just raccoons there. Hey, boss.
Jumping over each other trying to get through your door.
You're not going to believe this.
Yeah, so I'm barricaded in by raccoons.
I can send a picture if you want.
I can't. Because it's not like they're going to know to not come back anymore.
No.
So they're just
animals. All they know is
go
food,
to that house.
Food here. Let's go.
Yeah. So I think legally those raccoons just own the house now, right?
Yes. Those raccoons are officially the homeowners. Which I mean would make sense. It's Seattle. Or not Seattle, but it's Washington. Squatters' laws
there you go.
Are more prevalent now.
I wonder if like they would just start tearing down the boards, panels.
They'll probably eat them, yeah.
Trying to get inside as much as possible.
Probably.
Which is more scarier, crows or the raccoons in this situation?
Crows are dumb.
No, they're not. What are you talking about?
Okay, not
both
dumb.
Are very smart
They're
creatures.
very smart, but I feel like in this situation, raccoons would be more frightening.
I think crows.
Really?
Just a flying creature coming at you, and crows talk to one another from other areas.
That is true.
So you mess.
And they remember your face for like years.
And I think they pass it down generational too. So you're
okay. Yeah, you're right.
You're possibly just ruining your entire life.
Pretty much.
Like you initially you just make 5 of them angry, and then it just keeps growing and growing as they like tell one another like.
That's actually really cool. Like studying that.
Crows?
Just animals in general, like behavior and like what they pass down and like how they are socially. I've always thought about that of like even with like my cats, like they talk to each other.
Yeah.
It's like, how? I want to know what you're talking about.
I know. That stuff like that blows my mind.
Mm-hmm. Like you have your own mental capacity. You have your own societal way of conduct. Yeah. I'm going to know this.
I mean, that's the whole thing of like crows having meetings. What are you having meetings about?
Okay, today we're going to go to Greg's house. Yeah. I'm going to stare at him all day.
Trevor told us that he found a piece of bread over by this dumpster, so we're going to go hang out there.
And I feel like they kind of like want to make you think that they're dumb too, because they just hop around.
I love the little skip.
Especially like when there's a car coming, they'll just
little skip.
You have wings.
Use them. I think that's where the smartness comes in. They're like, I don't have to fly. I'm gonna make it if I just walk.
Yeah. Or like they want to make you think that like they aren't as smart as they are.
Right. You know, I just learned that crows will investigate another crow's body to figure out how it died.
I saw a special on crows. I think it was like a nature special on PBS like years ago.
Oh, okay.
And they talked about that.
I just learned this, and like, so we have like detective crows now.
FBI crows. They come
police
crows.
Look out the scene, like, what happened? But apparently that's how they learn what's dangerous.
Yeah.
So if they see the crow and they see something that they can associate to that dying, they're like, okay, don't go to that thing.
Yeah.
Then. Which I think is how we evolved.
I guess, yeah.
We see someone pick a berry and eat it, they fall over dead, and they're like, stay away from that one.
This one, no.
Draw a little watercolor painting. Why was everyone good at watercolor paintings back then?
Back when?
Back in the day when...
Give me a year.
I don't know, like 600.
1700s? I guess it's because that's all they had.
That is true. They weren't like out.
There weren't pens and like pencils way back then.
They were just good at art because that's all they had. But yeah, we had
so much to talk about.
We did. We covered a lot of it.
we did.
Yeah, this has been fun being the first in-person recording.
Yeah.
Like I said, this was a test episode.
Yeah.
For in person, it's going to be more common. And I think as it becomes more common, we're going to figure out the little things to make it better, which is good. Mm-hmm. But that will do it for this week's episode. If you liked it, be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. Go follow all of our socials over at Intersint Pod, and we will see you next week.
Bye.